On today's show, you're going to meet a construction mogul. Hello, I'm Shannon Skinner, and this is Extraordinary Women TV. My guest today is Kelsey Ramsden. She is the president of Belvedere Place Development, a civil construction company based in Western Canada. She also has been listed as Canada's top female entrepreneur by Profit Magazine. Her day job, she builds roads. You'll meet her in a moment. Later in the segment, before we take a break, I'll have my regular Good to Know Minute when I ask my guests for their top success tip. You will hear Kelsey's. Well, hello, Kelsey.
Hello.
It's nice having you here today.
Nice to be here.
Now, you're based in London, Ontario. Thank you for being in Toronto for this today. Your company's based in BC, and I know that you recently had moved to London. What do you love about living in Ontario?
I love the fall. It's beautiful. I'm from Kelowna in BC, so we don't have deciduous trees as much, so it's beautiful in that respect. And the winter I actually prefer here. People might be surprised to hear that, but in Kelowna all winter, although it's 2 degrees, it is gray and cloudy the entire time. So I'll take London with 3 feet of snow and glorious sunshine over 2 degrees and gray for months. So yeah, I very much enjoy the winter.
Now, I know that you've got a marathon coming up. We were just chatting as we were prepping, and you are working toward a marathon.
Yeah, I'm working towards running a half marathon. I've never been a runner before.
Congratulations, that's exciting.
It's going to be fun, hopefully, or painful, not sure, but I'll finish, and that's the point.
Now, you managed to, Profit Magazine has listed you as Canada's top female entrepreneur. You've got a very successful business, multi-million-dollar business, and you manage to juggle this with 3 little kids. How do you do it?
I think generally it is a juggle for sure. That's fair to say. Having a great husband, he's also an entrepreneur, so we both understand that things come up, so we're very fluid that way, quite nimble.
And your kids are all under 5.
Yeah, 5, 2, and 1. Just one last weekend, yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's just a matter of planning and being, like I say, very nimble. Things happen. We move quickly.
Now, you are one of probably the only woman in your position in Canada, would that be correct to say, running
the only one I've met, yeah.
Right, yeah. Now, how does that feel?
It's fun.
Yeah?
I like it. Yeah, I do. I very much like earth moving. I don't know, it's just something I grew up with, something I like very much.
Of course, your family owned a construction company, and you worked for your father's company, working on building roads as a flag girl.
Yeah, so my first job was when I was 14 on the Alaska Highway, living in a camp, which is essentially trailers on the side of the road. And I was the person with the slow stop. That was me. And I worked every summer for my family's business, construction business, and worked for some other construction companies along the way, and then went to school, did a bit of school, and then came out and decided I'd like to do it for myself. So that is how I got into building roads from the beginning, and then kind of decided to do my own road building.
So when you did your MBA, what sparked you to want to build roads? I mean, it's not a typical field that a woman would find herself in these days, but obviously it's happening. Yeah,
so for me, predominantly it was just something I missed. I had done it for such a long period of time, and I tried some other things and realized that really I missed, it may sound a little bit odd to say to a lot of people out there, but I missed the smell of dirt moving. I missed the sound of backup, sirens, and I missed the guys. I just really enjoy building roads. It's nice to have a tangible result at the end. Yeah, I just missed the whole thing from start to finish, so I thought, I know how to do it. Why not do that?
So then let's talk a little bit about Belvedere Place Development, a little bit about the company and what it is exactly that you do.
So we do a lot of things outside of build roads. Build roads is what we started doing because that's what I knew how to do best from the beginning. We do bridges, airports, dams, underground work, so stormwater and sewer and all that kind of thing as well. But yeah, so we started doing government contracts predominantly, so that would be for the provincial or federal government building roads, and that is just a blind bid process where if you're the lowest, you get the job. And you go, you do the job for that much, and that's what you get paid, and if it costs you more, then that's just too bad. So that's where we started, which is a pretty intense way to start a business. And then we branched out into doing different kinds of work and private work for developers who would be starting a new subdivision or that kind of thing. And then ultimately oil and gas and mining companies and that kind of work. So yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
So of course you walk around, you've got a hard hat, I would assume.
I do.
And boots.
Yes,
and,
I do.
I've seen some pictures of you with holding some boots and your sandals, which is, we're going to have a chance to show that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing that I hope never changes for me is the real sense of working with the guys, because it's, it's just a very genuine type of a work. Again, it's with the earth, so, and you're actually physically changing things. So I think getting stuck in the office is not that good for me. It's nice to put my boots on and go out and work with the guys. And when I'm on jobs, I am on jobs. I don't look like this. I don't have makeup on. I'm wearing a hard hat. I have my boots on, and it's dirty work. It's early work. I drive a truck, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But it's I've just always really enjoyed it.
Was it a challenge for you gaining respect of, you know, the crew with being a woman in charge? Yeah,
I think it's twofold. I think first is if you're the boss's kid to begin with. So my first experience in construction was being the boss's kid. And I think in that, it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. I think you just have to outwork everybody and show people that you're willing to work hard and go the extra mile. And, you know, it's not a silver spoon or kind of a golden ticket. And from having that experience very young, then to going to being the boss and female, I think it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, you know, I've been at tender openings where people would go, "Oh, is your boss coming?" thinking I was the secretary, and now, you know, we're waiting for the boss to show up, and I go, "Well, actually, I am the guy." And that kind of gets you a lot of leeway then, because now you're in a little bit of a position of they're a bit red-faced, and you can kind of use that to your advantage. So that's handy. Yeah, you know, I think ultimately once you do a decent job, people understand that you're capable. And I think we've always done a decent job. And so a couple of roads under your belt, and then people go, okay, she knows what she's talking about. And then the female thing kind of goes away, and then you're just a person. So I'm grateful to be in the position where I've been just a person for a while, and as such, been able to grow my business.
Now you've had an experience of cancer more recently, and how has that impacted your life overall? Yeah,
I think actually I was very fortunate, because when I found out that we were pregnant with our third child, I decided, you know, this commuting by week, like a week out west, a week here, back and forth, was getting to be pretty tricky for us to manage. And so we started putting management in place in the business out west so that I could spend less time out there. And when Sam's our third, when Sam was 2 months old, I got diagnosed with a type of cervical cancer that's very rare, like less than 0.1% of people get this type. And it's very aggressive, and generally within 18 months you're not around anymore. And so I was lucky they found it early, and I had management in place that I could take some time off and get well. So just kind of serendipitously, it all fell together that I was in a good position to be able to take some time off from work to rely on the people who work with and for me. And they were fabulous insofar as no one went looking for other work or thought, oh no, here we go. You know, everyone stuck right by me and worked extra hard to kind of pick up the pieces that were lying around when I was lying on the surgery bed and that kind of thing. And then since then, really, I think it's kind of like you often hear a lot of the cliche things that cancer survivors say, that as a non-cancer survivor, I never really didn't resonate with me, or I didn't viscerally understand. But certainly for me, it really was an aha moment where I took some, I don't know what the word is, I took a look at my life and went, really, what is it that I'm doing? And what do I enjoy doing, and how much of my energy do I spend in those areas? And the thing I notice every day, I would say, is when I'm running, now that I'm training for this marathon and I'm getting tired, I think to myself, geez, well, it's lucky you're alive, so you should just keep running. You know, you have 500 more meters, don't peter out now. And so, yeah, it's just the small moments like that where I'm very appreciative for the opportunity to even be here. And so that's given me a lot of oomph, let's say, to go back into the business world and put a lot more energy into what I am doing, because I have the opportunity simply to do it.
Now, Kelsey, we are just going to take a quick break, and that means it's my good to know minute. And you know, I know you've got a great success tip, so I'm really eager to hear this one.
Yeah, I'd say it's a combination of operating with integrity and determination. So I'd say for my own self, coming from a place of integrity with everything that I do in business is kind of the fundamental key piece. And then being determined, really, you know, outwork it everybody and do your best job all the time. And if the way seems difficult, then I just find another way. And I think the combination of those two things has gotten me a few places, and so I'm grateful for it.
Well, that's good to know. Thanks for that. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more with Kelsey Ramsden, President of Belvedere Place Development, a civil construction company based in Western Canada. So stay where you are. Welcome back to the show. I'm Shannon Skinner, and I'm speaking with Kelsey Ramsden. She is, well, a construction mogul. Her day job, she builds roads. Well, Kelsey, it's really nice having you here.
Thanks.
Now, you're doing some other things. I mean, you've got some other businesses and on the go. Is there anything you can share with us?
In terms of my other businesses? Yeah, predominantly my other businesses either support my construction business, or I do mentoring, or if you call it consulting, for startup businesses, because I think that's the most fun and exciting part of a business, is the startup part. There's just a lot of energy around it, and just so many opportunities to impact the change or the business model that someone's trying to undertake. So yeah, no, I find a lot of, I get a lot of energy out of helping out businesses doing that.
What has been one of the greatest lessons that you've learned, and this might be the first thing you tell someone that you're mentoring? Do this or don't do that.
Oh, wow. Well, actually two come to mind. So very briefly, the first one is, you know, the cliche of cash is king. That is definitely, I would say, the first thing most entrepreneurs hit, is realizing that their cash flow, you know, their financial model looks one way, but what really happened was different. So sometimes you grow too fast and people think, oh, that's great, but really you can run out of cash trying to supply the machine that's going so quickly. And the second thing I would say is, you know, really the piece around people, and that a business really is only as good as everyone who's in it. And I've learned that being the person at the top doesn't actually make you on top. So it just means that you probably have to make the decisions nobody else wants to make, but that everybody is equally as responsible for making the business successful. And so, you know, I get to be in Profit Magazine and I get to be in Chatelaine and all these wonderful things, but ultimately it's not just me who did it. Without the hundreds of other people who work with me, I certainly wouldn't have any of those opportunities. So I'm very cognizant of the fact that the people who are with me are very important. It's important to surround yourself with the right kind of people, certainly.
What's been your greatest sense of accomplishment in your life?
Yeah, I think the best thing was driving over, there was a portion of the Alaska Highway that I built, and at that time I actually was fortunate enough to have my mom and dad come up to the job with me. And that was really fun because I was able to kind of build a road as the boss person with my dad, and it used to be the other way around, of course. For so many years I worked for him, and it was nice, I think, in some respects, for them to see that what I was doing, because they had moved out of the country a long time ago, and so they came back and did that, and it was nice to drive over a road that we'd kind of built together. That was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
If you could do anything all over again, would you change it? Would you do everything the same way?
Yeah, I would say I would. I'm a big fan of failure. I think failure is really key. So there isn't any, I mean, I don't love it in the moment. I'm not a big fan of feeling like I've made mistakes or, feeling like things are tricky, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to take the learning out of it, really. So I don't think there's anything I would change. The bad things have taught me good things, so that's good.
Can you give us an example?
Oh gee, I took on some bad business partners. I've done that before. That was bad.
Case book.
Yeah, case 101.
Okay, 101.
Know
yeah,
your
sorry.
partners. Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, I think. We all do. It doesn't matter if it's in business or life.
Right.
Everyone's made a mistake. They've gone, oh. And other people can oftentimes, at least in my instance, other people can tell me, well, maybe you should consider. And I'm a bit like, I have to fail for myself. And so I'm not that good at hearing what other people have told me. I'm getting better at it. Now I'm understanding, oh yes, they do know that. And so I have a lot of great mentors around me as well, older business people who I'm now listening to a great deal more than I used to in my 20s.
Because of course you started this business when you were in your 20s. You were quite young.
I was 28 or 9, I think, when I started. Yeah, so I'm now 37, so 36. Got myself a year there, much better. So yeah, I would say I can't say there's anything that I would change, no.
Yeah. And how would you define success? I mean, Profit Magazine, has ranked you as the top female entrepreneur, as a fairly great place to be.
Right.
So, I mean, in the public domain, you're being recognized as the most successful female entrepreneur in the country. For you, how would you define it?
I think it's all relative. For me, I can remember losing sleep one night over something, a piece of equipment that had to be delivered to a site, and if I'd made a mistake, it was going to cost maybe $500 or $600. And at the time, that I didn't sleep all night. And now mistakes can cost a great deal more than that, and that $600 wouldn't bother me as much. But the point being, I think success is just feeling like I'm accomplishing something of value for myself. And hopefully that I'm providing other people an opportunity to do so as well, because I've always been fortunate enough to be people have taken risks on me and given me opportunities. And so I think money is nice and everybody loves it, but at a certain point it's really beyond just making money. It's about enjoying, I think, for me, what I do, and then that's business-wise, and then of course personally, success is really just all about my family and my friends, because the cancer piece has certainly made me realize that is what it is. All the other stuff is nice, and I'm certainly grateful for it, but it can go away any day. Family and friends don't.
Well, Kelsey, I have really enjoyed this time with you and getting to know you and your journey to success and all that you do. So thank you so much for being here today, and I wish you all the best in your endeavors going forward.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Well, we've been speaking with Kelsey Ramsden. She's the president of Belvedere Place Development. Really enjoyed learning the ropes of a construction mogul. Well, if you are interested in finding out more about Kelsey, you can visit my website at extraordinarywomentv.com. You'll find this interview in her bio and some other information about her there. And of course, if you're interested in finding out past guests, upcoming guests, more about the show, and how to contact me, again, you can find all that information out on the website at extraordinarywomentv.com. Well, if you are interested in transforming your life, I hope these stories inspire you. You've been watching Extraordinary Women TV. I'm Shannon Skinner. See you soon.